All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, I don't want to make this just about me and the situation with YouTube, so I wanted to showcase this album here. This is the first Dukes of the Orient album. I will probably at some point get around to getting their second album. This is an album that really got my attention like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. If you like the music of Asia, but it's not exactly like Asia, it's got its own vibe to it. Features John Payne and Eric Norlander, the keyboard player, who's just insane. They're both really great musicians. John Payne is not John Wetton, all right? It's kind of like going from David Lee Roth to Sammy Hagar. John Payne has got his own gravel dump truck style of singing, whereas John Wetton was very smooth. All right, it's just a different style of singing. I know John Payne was in Asia from I'm talking about the band, not the country, from 1991 to about 2006. So he spent 15 years with the band. So again, he's got credibility to put out music like this. The brilliance of this, the analog recording techniques they used, especially on the keyboards. Now, this is their debut. They have another album called Freak Show. That's the one that I probably need to go and get. That came out, I think, in 2020. I don't know if they're done putting out music. I would be interested in hearing more from Dukes of the Orient. Now, about this channel. Okay, so I learned some new information, and I can speculate all day long about, are they shadow banning? Are they suppressing? It appears that all of that is going on as far as the view counts go, because they're ridiculously low based on the number of subscribers I have. Maybe I have a whole bunch of dormant subscribers, people who subscribed maybe one time to watch one interview or something, and then they haven't come back. I obviously have a lot of people that aren't subscribed. So like I always say, please subscribe to the channel. That will do me a lot of good. And then like the videos. I've got people that are saying, yeah, I'm going to share your videos in a group. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the patrons who have stepped forward and really increased their pledges, and new pledgers out there saying really nice things. This is why I do this through Patreon and not through this comment system, which actually, if you get a whole bunch of negative comments, can hurt your channel, can suppress your channel in a way where the algorithm is actually looking at all of this information. I mean, if you've got a positive channel with positive commentary, and then you've got lots of positive commenters, that's really how you maximize getting subscribers. I have a lot of people, though, who don't like my takes on things. They don't like me personally. And then, of course, we've got the politics, all right? Over the last couple of years, I have spent time kind of pushing back against the narrative, whether it is the health issues, which have not been resolved, and it shows that I was right and other people weren't right, but yet nobody has apologized or updated their views. In fact, there's a certain presidential candidate whose initials are RFK, and he went on ABC News, said some stuff, and they literally just sliced out the stuff that they don't want. They just took the editing and, nope, you can't say that. And then they come back later and they do their editorial comment about how he's wrong and they're right because their experts are right and his experts are wrong. You know what I'm saying? So we are in a very weird time as far as expression. Like, if I want to express myself openly, I have to now censor myself as to what I'm going to say. Now, they may not block this is the new technique, is they might not block your video, they might not demonetize your video, which is good, but then if you're not getting viewers because they've shadow banned you or kind of unsubscribed people, or people aren't getting notifications, they do all of those things, then what am I doing wrong? My video's out there. It wasn't taken down. It wasn't demonetized. So how come? What's going on? And this is really frustrating, because you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I met all of their requirements, but they are going to favor certain content over other content. Again, I beat myself up for production value. I started doing videos in my backyard. I progressed inside the house. So I made, I made a big leap there. But as far as, an intro or interesting music or anything that's going to play during the video, that's not me. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry, and I apologize in advance. There are some very smart people that spend hours doing editing. I just have no desire to learn that or to do that. It's just me talking to you, okay? And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, then, we'll have to figure out something else. I do have another channel, which I've been talking about. It's a YouTube channel, so I can promote it. It's called The Radical Independent. Great interviews over there recently with Scott Ritter and James Roguski, two frequent guests to that channel. This is highbrow content. This is not for people who are wondering what the difference is between a Democrat and a Republican, okay? This is for people who are kind of thinking about what's truly happening, whether it's the war in Ukraine or issues regarding your health and your bodily autonomy, which in some areas is very important to some people, but in other areas, apparently it's not, Anyway, see, I could go off on tangents. I'm just trying to tell people what's out there for them if they want to check out my other channel. Also explain that from what I understand, the YouTube revenue itself is down. Okay, so they're not signing up as many advertisers, and those ads aren't being placed onto videos as frequently. Now, I'm going to say something that you can think it's controversial or not. I didn't have these problems in 2019 and 2020. My channel was doing well with about half as many subscribers because the economy was great. All right. Now, is that an advertisement for Donald Trump? Could be. All I know is that the economy was better and the channel was doing better. But it's weird because a lot of these big tech companies, they seem to want to shoot themselves in the foot by advocating for people who aren't going to help the economy grow. They're not going to help the average citizen have more buying power, more purchasing power, and thus they're losing advertisers, all right? Not to mention some of the weirdness that now is part of advertising. It's not just the Bud Light thing, by the way. I mean, you can turn on just regular network television or a Roku app that you might have where they insert ads into the programming. And some of these ads are just, they make you want to stop watching television altogether because of some of the marketing ideas that they have now. And I know, the ads have to be quick, they have to be captivating, but some of these ads are just disgusting. And I don't know what's going on with, certain people now being in advertising. You have to have a certain type of person in the ad. They might have to be a certain, demographic, we'll say it that way. And it's all the time. Because supposedly, advertising in the past hasn't done a good job representing what America looks like and all this stuff. So I'm thinking all of this is affecting ad, like how ads are successful. And if they are, if they're impactful. How about you tell us what the product is, what it does, and where you can get it? How about you do those things? How about you not worry about, you've got one of this group in the ad and one of this group in the ad, and then you again are starting to do this thing similar to the Budweiser stuff, or leaning in that direction. Know your audience, but the problem is that people, they don't care about that stuff anymore. They don't care about, hey, this isn't really our audience. We should. No, what they want to do is they want that audience to go away, and then they want a new audience, which no matter how this trends in the future, that new audience is not going to replace the traditional audience, the older audience. It just isn't. I mean, you're not going to, unless, and if it's conditioning, trying to change your perspective on something, you're doing two things right now. You're scaring a lot of people because people don't recognize their country anymore. They don't recognize certain aspects. There's a lack of civility. There's a do it like us or else mentality going on. And if you don't comply, eventually, you're going to lose your income. You're going to be shamed. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be marginalized. You're going to just be pushed aside until you with our type of thinking. I'm not going there. I'll go somewhere else before I submit to that. I'm just letting you know. These are hills to die on. Our children, okay? What they're promoting right now to kids, even in a subliminal way and kind of bridging you over to the super dark side in some cases, not even just promoting the worst of this, because that would be kind of a straw man argument, but they're doing stuff to lead you there. So you can say all of this is just the frog in the warm water, and they're just turning up the temperature. The Overton window is moving and so forth. These are big issues that people need to recognize are kind of the end of Western civilization if it continues. There's no, and if that sounds like hyperbole and geez, stay in your lane, dude, you were just talking about this band that sounds like Asia and so forth. Yeah, I would rather talk about that stuff, but every so often I drift into an area that I think is relevant to the music world, that I think people should kind of be connected to somehow, and not just think of, cats falling off of tables and fluffy bunnies and unicorns and whatever else does great here on YouTube. And I think it would be beneficial for everyone if somebody in charge of the government actually tried to stimulate the economy by getting out of the way and letting people do what they're really good at, being creative, being productive. And by the way, also, the education system might want to try education rather than indoctrination. They might want to work on churning out good citizens rather than self-obsessed narcissists, all right? Because that's what we're seeing right now. All of this stuff out there, do these people, do they focus on anything other than themselves? All right, and their problem, their AI generated problem that they're experiencing, which is really a mental disorder, which they need to get help. We should be helping these people. We shouldn't be encouraging them to do these things. In fact, if you have a friend who's an alcoholic, you don't go out and buy them a keg of beer. Okay, but this is what we're advocating for. And I'm at a loss as to how our society moves forward, because we're now into just looking the other way or doing a moral equivalence on everything. Yeah, this is the same. What's the matter with you? No, it's not. No, it's not. I understand biology. It's not. It's not. I mean, just about what, 5 minutes ago, we understood the reality of biology, but we don't understand that reality. And this is what is occurring, is that people are telling you that reality, your reality, or just reality in general, doesn't matter. That the person sets up their own reality and you have to accept their reality. And if you don't, you're a bigot. There's something wrong with you. So all that to say, folks, that YouTube itself, their revenue stream is down because all of this is hurting people. It's depressing people. People don't care about advertising. The advertisers are doing such a lousy job marketing and selling their products that their revenue, the company's revenue is down. And obviously this economy is horrific. It's a disaster. I mean, I know people don't like to use the R word, but I'm pretty sure we're in a recession right now, right? Gas prices continue to go up. You know, again, like I say to people, I'm not advocating for one person or another person as far as politics go these days, because my level of trust has dropped to some of its lowest points ever in my life, where I'm sitting there depressed going, okay, this problem, this guy has problems, this other guy has problems. I mean, the guy in charge right now has 10 times more problems than those guys have. However, you know, we do have to kind of look at the future. We can't just do a 4-year fix or fixes with executive orders. We need the country running well, and we need to be able to trade with people. We need to be able to also protect our workers and so forth. I mean, there's so many issues that we're not talking about because we're more entrenched in this culture war on biology, because that's what this is. It's a culture war on biology. And this last week, just watching the coverage, I mean, it's mortifying to see what people on the other side, how they justify their behavior and their actions, especially towards children. It's sick, okay? It's sick and it needs to end. So I knew I said, you know what, you're not going to do politics anymore. But I wanted to put this out there. And again, you can watch my other channel. It's called The Radical Independent. Every so often I do a rant like this, and other times I have special guests on. And again, if I have to migrate, I'll migrate. And I'll have to have you guys come with me. I'll have to say, look, this is what we've got to do. Right now, it's based, this whole thing though is based on the fact that YouTube doesn't have as many advertisers. And they've dropped something like 6%, something like that. I don't know what the exact number is, but I've dropped 50% in revenue. So that's the difference. I mean, they're really passing on the pain to smaller channels. You know, if I had 1 million subs, this probably wouldn't be an issue, but their algorithm is preventing me from getting, you know, more subs in a, I mean, I was getting about 800 to 900 per month, some months over 1,000. And now, you know, we had a little bump there thanks to Eric Clapton. And now we're kind of just going back into that, you know, 300, 400. And the other day it was like it went backwards for a few hours, and I was like, oh man. So I'm like, please subscribe to the channel. But this is a YouTube problem. This is an economy problem. This is a current president of the United States problem, whether you hate Donald Trump or whoever it is that you hate. All I know is that gas was $1.97 here in Florida back in 2019, before the thingdemic hit. I think it went up, then came down. I don't remember what happened in 2020, but it might have been like $2.11 a gallon. And that's how I measure stuff. Gas was inexpensive. Interest rates were low. Housing was, at least to buy a house, was somewhat more affordable. Your value was going up, but you didn't have high interest rates. If you wanted to buy a house, you could still buy a house, and your mortgage wouldn't be ridiculous. And those are the things that are very important. People can travel and buy groceries, and it's not ridiculous. I mean, the prices I see in the supermarket are just, it's insanity where it was and where it is now. And supposedly it's leveling off. All right. Well, all of this stuff affects the economy, thus it affects everybody's bottom line. So I'm essentially complaining about the fact that my revenue is going down because YouTube is suffering, because they're in bed promoting some of the worst economic policies in the history of the world. And they're also promoting a culture war, which is going to destroy, human relations for eternity if it doesn't turn itself around, which I don't know if people have the will to do that. But again, it's a hill to die on. And I don't know what else to say about it. So in any event, we'll see how this video does, right? Anyway, here's the music portion of the video brought to you by the Dukes of the Orient. It's a good band. Check it out, Frontiers Music. I'm sure you can get a copy on Amazon if you like Asia or Yes, or maybe even Uriah Heep a little bit. I don't know, but certainly some great instrumentation on this at the very least. This will restore your faith on good, solid recording techniques. And they have another album called Freak Show, which maybe I'll order just so I can have both of them. All right, I am done. I am way overdone. See you soon.